1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, guys. So now we're talking about the front derailleur. And what's particular, I told you this before. Since this frame and all the frames from this era didn't have the braze-on mount directly installed on the seat tube, you need an adapter. So I put this collar in, I told you this, and I've adjusted it, I eyeballed it, and the distance here, try to show you this, from the highest of those gear should be 1 to 2 millimeters. So I'm almost at more than 3 right now. So I'll have to adjust that. And also you have to align it perfectly with the crank. Cannot go in and out here and vice versa. It has to be perfectly parallel to it. So I'll have to adjust that, but I'm close. And let's have a look at the rear derailleur. So this should work, but it has to be even closer. It used to be 2 to 3 millimeters, but with this generation, it's 1 to 2. For this Ultegra crank, the specs are tighter, it's more accurate, more precise. So I'll adjust it. So the rear derailleur, the Ultegra, I mean, it's not hard to install. There's only one screw here. So I put it in. And what we're looking for is to adjust the high and low. Maybe you can see the screws. So we have the right range for the chain to go over the lowest, which is the high adjustment, the lowest gear to the highest gear. So we have to adjust that. Problem is, when I installed it, I hope you can see this. This is the original, well, the 105. You might see this, see there, the hole for the hex is really shallow. So a regular torque wrench will go into it. But on the Ultegra, look how deep this is. Yeah, this deep compared to this deep. So I couldn't use my torque wrench. The head prevents it, the shape of the head prevents it from going deep inside enough. So I had to use this. Even this side doesn't go in enough. I don't think it grabs. Oh, barely, yeah. Anyways, that's how I put it in. So I don't know the exact spec if I'm on it. I put it tight. I'll just have to live with that. That's the reality of specs and design changing over the years. But it should be okay, as long as it's tight in there. Maybe by hand I torqued it at, I don't know, 10 Newton meters. Maybe the spec is 12, something like that. I have a chart actually. I don't remember it by heart, but that's the gist of it. So we'll start working on the chain right now and hopefully install it by the end of the day. Yeah, be right back. Okay, folks, so welcome back. It's the next day, I don't know, 4th or 5th day working on the bike. I do a little every day, going very slowly, reading specs, asking AI some questions. And yeah, all the parts are installed except for the chain. So I got a brand new Shimano chain for this group set. Yeah, the HEG 70111. This should be the right thing, but it's most likely going to be too long. I'll have to remove 1 or 2 links. And how will I know that? Well, I'll start by looking at the previous chain, the one that was on the DeVinci to begin with, assuming it was the correct one, but I think it was. The previous owner, Catherine, said that this bike was running flawlessly, even after 13 years, and she always had it maintained by professional bike shops. So I decreased the chain, the original one, twice. It was still very dirty, and now I ran it through the ultrasonic bath. So let's see what we have now, because I want it to be clean to be able to handle it and count the links. So I never keep my solution. I always dump it every time. Let's get rid of this. We'll dry it. We'll see if it's if I can handle it, if it's manageable. Yeah, can still see oil on it, but with a wipe down, should be acceptable. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going on the bike again. Let's dump all of this. Certainly better, but yeah, it's not perfect. This morning I was checking YouTube videos, namely from Mike from Bite Speed YouTube channel, about waxing. Now, I was curious. Is it worth it? Is it worth doing a wax process on a chain? And to make a long story short, it's a complicated process, and at the end you have to put some graphene powder, and I think it's a bit messy. But most importantly, what I got out of his video is that it's not a long-lasting process. You have to do it if you're a heavy rider, you're medium to heavy rider, you have to do it every 4 or 5 weeks. Maybe it's not as labor intensive doing it the second time as compared to the first time, but you have to decontaminate the chain every time and re-wax it and break the wax and reinstall it. So if you have quick link, it might be easier. If you have to break the chain every time, it's a pain. So I decided for Ariane's bike, it's only her second season, I don't think it's worth it. And yeah, I don't want to be doing this every 4 or 5 weeks. Rather, once a year, when she brings back the bike, I'll clean the chain, for an annual tune-up or something. So let me get this on the bench. We'll see what we have, how many links. We'll count them and see how we adjust the new one. Okay, folks. So welcome back. Yeah, it's the next day. What I want to show you is, now that all the parts are installed, except for the chain, I want to show you how this logic works. So this is the brand new chain here. Yeah, the HG 701 came with nicely packaged, a little bit of shipping oil, and with basic instructions showing you how to use the quick link, because it comes with a quick link. So what do we have? Well, the old chain has 55 links. I know professionals use the full count, the female and the male, so they would tell you this is a 110 link, and the original is a 57 or 114, but it's the same principle. The top ones, which I call the male, I count those, and in between are the females. So what do I have to do? Well, logically, 55 and 57. So I have to remove 2, right? Well, no. I have to remove 3 of the complete mail links because I'm going to be adding a quick link. So what I need to end up with is exactly like this, a female and a female. So one will go at the bottom, the other one at the top, and the assembly. You don't need any tools for that part. You just have to compress the chain by holding the wheel, turning a little bit the crank, and then release it, and it'll snap into place. So as you can see here, I didn't have a quick link. So I ended up with 1 female, smaller, thinner one, and 1 male. And they were both inserted like this. If I can reinsert them together. Yeah. And it was linked with one of those small pins. Right in there. Again, I'm not sure if it'll fit through again. Can't see what I'm doing here. So one perfectly aligned, which I can't do right now. This is how it was held up. Anyways, you get the idea. And to remove it, you use one of those tools, which you press them out or press them in, putting a new one. Yeah, it's a cheap tool, but it does the job. So when I put the new one back in, I won't need this because I have the link. And just to make sure, I was talking, comparing apples with apples. I wanted to measure center to center one of the main links. Yeah, something like that. And compare it to the new one. Yeah. So we're talking the same thing here. The difference is this is a cheaper Taiwan chain, and this is the original Japanese one from Shimano. And yeah, I didn't know that, but believe it or not, there's a direction. Just like a tire, there's an arrow there. So what they tell you is all the markings there. There's none on the backside. Nothing's there. And here you have all the markings. So this should be facing towards you when you install it, when you install your new chain. And same for the links. There's a direction to make sure it's constant. So there's an arrow. Probably won't be able to see it. There's an arrow there. So this one should go like this. Like that. When you link it on the top one and you turn your crank, it's going to go like this. Same for the bottom one. You got to respect the direction. So these guys would go like this. Actually, like this. So they fit together. Get the idea? So let's go upstairs. We'll put the chain side by side, both chains, because I don't have the room here on the workbench. But we'll see if it makes any sense to remove 3 instead of 2. Okay, guys, so we're upstairs. Here's the setup. It's my kitchen counter. I've got both of the chains side by side. They both start on the female ends. They're perfectly flush with the end of the counter. And it goes all the way almost to the end of my counter. Yeah, so let's have a closer look. So first of all, this is how easy it is to make a mistake. when I counted the old chain's link, it was all curled up, and I added the female on the other side. I counted it as a full link, so I ended up with 55 links, but there's actually 54. So 54, 57, that's a 3 link difference. So I should cut it here, 1, 2, 3. I mean, if I count this one full, 1, 2, 3, so it would be too long. So where I have to cut it is actually here. So once this is cut, once this is not there, but I have this link in, yeah. I'll have the right size. I'll just finish with the other half of the link here. See? Or let me show you the actual ending. So this is why I do it like that. If I make a mistake, I'll spot it right away. So this goes like this. Really easy. And it just protrudes enough for the other one to catch and link up with it perfectly. See what I mean here? Okay, so even to make it more obvious, this is what we end up with, okay? The 2 females. So like this, when I'm ready to assemble, it'll just be a matter of linking the top and the bottom together like that and putting some pressure on the chain. Click, it will click. I'm not pressing it in because I don't want to be left with the trouble of removing it, but you get the picture, right? So, perfect. Okay guys, so there you have it. I hope you'll be able to hear. A bit noisy here. So I finished the bike yesterday, late last night. And yeah, I just took it out this morning to see what it looks outside. And also to be able to wait for Ariane. She's going to be coming over to try it after work. So it's what, like 3 in the afternoon. She'll be here around 5. Yeah. People are coming back from work. Ugly car. Anyways, I wasn't 100% satisfied with the adjustment of the shifters, the brifters last night. There was a bit of rubbing on the extremes. I guess a bit of cross-chaining will always be unavoidable. So I brought it over at Crépin. Crépin's bike shop in Châteauguay. And the 3 mechanics that were there couldn't believe how good this bike looked. They didn't believe it was from 2013. They think I did a very good job, I say modestly. They only adjusted the rear derailleur high limit, which they said wasn't set high enough. And they changed the routing of the front derailleur cable. Yeah, I think I showed you that. There's a pin there, and you're supposed to route the cable not around that pin, but you just have to like corner it. And they changed that, and they put it more straight. So the tension relies more on the torque of the bolt, more than the angle of that pin, produced by that pin. But they said it would probably do a better pull, straighter, 90-degree pull. So they told me, try it like that. And if it doesn't, you don't like it, just come back and we'll change it. So yeah, 20 minutes there. And there's still a bit of rubbing. And they said pretty much exactly what I thought. There will always be a little bit of rubbing, and you have to prioritize the actual gears you're going to be using. Okay guys, so let's pause for a second. I just want to explain what the cross-chaining is. So this is a view of your whole drivetrain, a top view. Here you have your rear cassettes with the natural speeds, 1 to 11 in this case. You have your front chain rings, and you've got both cogs, the small and the bigger ones. I've indicated one because when your chain is on the small cog, you have your natural speeds. There's no multiplier. But when you use the bigger cog, since there's more teeth here, well, I didn't want to call it ×2 because it's not exactly ×2. It's just that there's a ratio there that gradually increases your speed. So it's plus 11. Since you're starting at 11, well, the position 1 here will become, will become 12 to 22. So just to make it simpler, let's keep it on the natural one, natural speeds. And let's put a derailleur, front derailleur here. So when you start to adjust, you start with the rear one. And there's a derailleur there. And so you adjust it so it doesn't rub against one another, the sprockets, or try to go into the spokes, or rubbing on the frame. But let's just concentrate on the front derailleur because it's more complex here. I've also drew the low and high limit screws represented here by those 2 lines. So when you start adjusting, you have your main cable here, and you put some tension into it. You lock it down, so you have control with your brifters. You can move the derailleur up and down with your brifters. Okay, once this is adjusted, you're not supposed to touch it anymore. Not too tight, not too loose, some tension into it, and you start with that. So what you do, you start testing. So you go in gear 1, and you go all the way to 11, and if it wasn't okay, let's say your tension wasn't okay, you'll probably start more like that, and you'll see, and you'll hear and feel your first conflict. See, on the extremes, the angle of the chain is bigger, it's steeper. So if there's going to be a conflict, it's going to be either going in or going out of your cage. In this case, if I was like that, you know, starting out, I would have to adjust here, the low. I would just unscrew it to free the chain. And that would be our starting point for the low gears. Now let's move to the bigger ones. Okay, 12 to 22. Let's do the same exercise. So we tested from the 12th to the 22nd. And where is the conflict? Well, it's at the exit here on the 12 speed. 12 speed here, okay? So I would have to move the derailleur down again. See where I'm going here, right? The problem is, if I show what was my my full range of all the positions, this is what I get. So when I get rid of a conflict here, I create another one higher up. I get rid of the higher one and I get another one here. So what do we do from here? Well, I'll tell you right away, there's no magical perfect solution. There will always have a compromise to be made. And that's what I found out when I went over at Crépin, because I had favored this position without really knowing what I was doing. You know, I was trying to get rid of all the rubbing, but I couldn't. I didn't understand this. So I favored this, and this would be for a, you have to determine what kind of a rider you are. Are you doing a lot of hills? Are you climbing all the time? Then you will probably favor this. If you're doing more long distances, well, you'll favor this, which made more sense for Ariane, and that's why they did it for me over at Crépin. It took them like 5 minutes, and I said, yeah, go ahead, do it for me, please. Now that I understand the principle, I'll be able to reproduce it on other bikes. But there's also, I just want to show that there is it's not a solution, okay, but you can, yeah, let's just keep those. You can sort of fix it, you know. Let's put it like that, and let's say we have friction here. What you can do, well, on your bike, modern drifters, you have tension adjusters. Okay, the first type will be a tension adjuster directly on your drifters, and that's just to put or remove some of the tension on the cable, which in effect will sort of move your chain a little bit like that. Okay, it will allow you, maybe to, if you're lucky, to get rid of some of the conflicts on the extreme there. Okay, or you have the other type like I have. It's a barrel adjuster. It's the same thing, tension adjuster, but it's an inline barrel adjuster, and it's positioned on the drifter cable somewhere between the front derailleur and the drifter handles, per se, closer to the drifter handles. There is also another possibility, which does almost the same thing. On modern drifters, there's a midpoint. There's a mid position. I mean, when you press it hard, going up or going down, you're moving one full speed, from 1 to 2 to 3. But if you go at the middle, if you went too far, you come back again with the other drifter, the other handle, and it does the same thing. You can maybe move it a little bit. It's not perfect, but yeah, it's another possibility. Does it really help? Yeah, a little bit, but it's not perfect. You mostly have to, determine in advance what kind of a rider you are and what you're going to be favoring. So I hope all of this makes sense. The modern cassettes with the 11 speeds, it's a feat of engineering, but it's not perfect, especially since they made the cages thinner and thinner over the years, and adding more speeds, it's really almost a nightmare to adjust this perfectly. They did also make the chains a little bit thinner with time, which does help, but yeah, nothing's perfect, and I did the best I could. Crépin did the best they could. there's still a little bit of rubbing. To be perfectly honest, it's how should I say this? Let's put 1, 2, and 3 gear, okay? Almost no riders I know. Any serious rider will never ride on first, second, or third, even maybe fourth gear. Not only because of the conflict, but because it's not efficient. I mean, your cadence will be super high and you won't have much forward movement. You won't get up the hill any easier than if you instead, use on the small cog, but maybe 4, 5, 7, 8. It's a little bit tougher to pedal, but at least you'll be moving forward. Climbing up on your bike, on your pedals, you'll conquer that hill. But on the first and second and third speed, you probably won't. So there's no point in putting a priority on those gears, in my opinion. And that's what they said over at Crépin. So I hope it makes sense. And let's get back to the bike. Okay, folks, so welcome back. It's the last episode. I finally finished the DeVinci. And thank you. Thank you for still being here, sticking with me for a whole lengthy series. Again, I took some notes now that I have an iPad, just so I can cover all the points I want to touch in conclusion after working on this a little bit crazy project. First of all, well, you won't be surprised when I tell you that there's a lot of bad people, greedy people in this world. And the guy that worked on the Imonda and sold it to my daughter, I mean, he's one of those guys. The more I worked on the bike, the more I realized just at one point just how much this guy didn't know what he was doing. The rear cassette was, if you can believe this, was just barely a little more than hand tight. And he obviously didn't have the tool to torque it down to 40 Newton meters. So that was dangerous as well. And you saw the dropout and all that. I mean, it's one thing to want to make money, resell stuff, fix them, and make a little money off of it, but not to the point of completely disregarding human life, human safety. And it really pissed me off. So I started this project, I won't lie, just, thinking that it had bad Grupo, bad components. The Grupo was really cheap. That was my mindset. So, me, I ordered the parts to upgrade it to an Ultegra group set. And later I realized I wasn't going to be able to use the Monda frame because of the broken dropout. So I was even more enraged. But my personal challenge was, well, not to try to seek out that guy first, and to transform my rage into something more, use that energy and make it a creative energy. So I had to learn, as always, anything I do, even if it's a radio, even if I did, I don't know, 12, 13 radios so far, I always have to learn. Well, it's even worse for bikes. I only had one bike under my belt, one rebuild with the Trek District. This one was quite a bit more complex with gearing, speeds, chain, and all that. So, and also, you know, at first I thought it was going to be much simpler. But then when I realized the damage and I wasn't going to be able to solve that puzzle, I couldn't find a suitable frame. I couldn't find another, whatever Trek, domain, Imonda, or whatever, right size and compatible with the Ultegra. So when I realized that, I really started working with AI, and I was lucky enough to find this nice DeVinci. And I want to take a second just to say thank you to Catherine, who sold me this bike. She didn't have to, and it was a very reasonable price, worth every penny. And I could tell working on it that it had been well maintained. It wasn't even dirty, to the point I was questioning myself, questioning if it had ever been ridden. It was that good. So yeah, I had to find that. I had a budget in my mind because Ariane already spent a lot of money on it, and she didn't have the budget for a brand new bike. Neither did I, to be quite honest. The full carbon frame bikes nowadays, I mean, a good quality one, not top end, just a good quality one, will cost you anywhere north of $4,000. I was at the store the other day, and I saw a nice bike, but I mean, not Tour de France quality, but it was still $8,000, if you can believe that, with an Ultegra group set. Okay, it was a more modern one, the electronic one, but still $8,000. Some people around here don't even pay that for cars, for used cars. So, having said that, working on a budget, I mean, nowadays in our Canadian economy, at least, I doubled that budget. There was $800 for just the group sets and tools, and I paid this bike $1,000. So it's just a little bit less than $2,000, but still. But now I believe the bike is worth at least that much, if not $2,500, $2,600. Yeah, speaking about tools, it's. I mean, it was fun working on it, but it only got fun when I started getting the proper tools. I'll never work without a torquing wrench. Again, I have two now, a big one for the cassette and smaller ones for every other bolts, nuts, and fasteners everywhere. So it became fun only when I got the right tools. So what else can I say? Oh yeah. Once I realized I was going to start working on a brand new bike, that's where I started, when I started thinking, what was the weight of the Imonda? Well, the Imonda started at 20.5 pounds, as it was set up with the cheaper Claris group set. So I was hoping to get it to that weight, 20.5 or less. Well, as it turns out, once everything was done with the new Ultegra lighter group set, the bike now weighs in at a little above 19 pounds, 19.18, I believe. So that's almost a pound and a half lighter. And I'm sure Ariane's going to appreciate it. If only in her mind, she might not feel it because she's not experienced enough. It's only going to be her second season doing any kind of serious biking. But yeah. So in conclusion, it wasn't an easy project, but it works. It was great now. So it's rewarding at the end. It shifts perfect. It brakes nicely. Everything works. Bite is lighter. And I have to mention also, I did take a big risk because when I got this bike, it was set up with a 105 group set, Shimano 105, and it was working perfectly. I only did it because I had the parts already and I didn't want to lose them. I mean, selling them, I would have sold them at a loss for sure. So I decided I was going to do it, and I upgraded it. And because the bike was it was in such a good shape, it wasn't that hard. I mean, it didn't take It's not a one afternoon project. You know, I worked on it maybe 6 or 7 days, but not full days. You know, I would start, I don't know, on the wheels. Once the wheel were done, I would take a break and start working on it the next day, working on the wheels, and so on and so forth. So I did a little every day. If I had had all the parts, the components, and the knowledge beginning, as I was starting on the bike, maybe I could have done it in 2 days. Professional guys, they do this every day. It takes them maybe a couple of hours. If they don't run into problems and frozen bolts or anything damaged or broken anywhere, they just do a one for one swap. I'm sure they do it under 2 hours. I'm not there yet. But still, it's both. It was both fascinating and frustrating at times, because even if you follow the manual, you follow AI, 0.5 millimeters here, this tension there, and it never works perfectly. There's a lot of feel. You start working on it, and then you realize what every part is doing. What's the relationship between this bolt and this arm and this pin? Once you wrap your head around it, then you feel it more than you actually look at a book and put the exact setting. It'll never work as it was designed to, or with the figures and the numbers in a book. Well, and also because the bike is 13 years old, the parts were at least that old too, maybe 15, and they were all used. Nothing was new. So there's a little bit more of a challenge there. I believe the cage, the rear derailleur cage, is straight, but how can I be absolutely sure? So in conclusion, Ariane's going to be picking up her bike today. We're going to maybe swap the seat for the one she has. If she likes it more, we'll adjust the height, we'll test the speed, and we'll test the braking. And if everything is good, she has a 50K run planned for tomorrow. Weather permitting, of course. It's Canada here. So thank you very much again for being here until the end. I'm very happy. And I won't be talking hockey anymore, at least not until October. The Canadians lost last night, so we lost in 5 against the Hurricanes. Yeah, they just weren't there. They didn't have any steam anymore. I'm not complaining. They had a great season. It was really fun to watch, but it's over for summer and part of the fall. So thank you again, and we'll catch you on the next project.